All right, so get this. We are diving deep into one of the most intense rivalries in all of football. Flamengo versus Fluminense.
The Flo-Flamengo.
Exactly. Legendary in Brazilian football. And this wasn't just any other match either.
No.
We're talking title aspirations up against a desperate fight to avoid relegation.
Absolutely. And the energy surrounding this match was palpable. I mean, you've got Gabigol hitting this incredible milestone, his 300th game for Flamengo, a moment that just screamed for a celebration. But then on the other side of the pitch, you have Fluminense practically staring down relegation. Every single point is crucial at this stage.
Yeah, talk about a pressure cooker, right? Even before the first whistle blows, you can cut the tension with a knife, and then that first half plays out. And honestly, it felt like both teams were playing not to lose.
Tactically, it was a fascinating back and forth. Flamengo definitely controlled the ball for most of the half,
Right.
but Fluminense's counterattacks were dangerous, really sharp.
Yeah.
Remember when Alcaraz hit the post?
Oh, yeah.
That right there, that was a warning shot to Flamengo.
It really felt like the energy shifted in the stadium after that moment.
Yeah.
You have to wonder if maybe Flamengo underestimated their opponents a little bit going into this match.
Perhaps. And then, of course, there's that penalty miss by Ganso.
Oh, man.
You could practically hear the collective groan from Fluminense fans across the entire city. I mean, that was a golden opportunity missed.
Absolutely heartbreaking. But you know what? It really sets the tone for that whole first half, doesn't it? Both teams holding back, afraid to make a mistake, but then the second half starts and bam, enter Arias.
A game changer doesn't even begin to describe it.
Right.
The entire dynamic shifted the second he stepped onto the pitch. He instantly targeted Flamengo's vulnerability, that left flank, Ayrton Lucas, particularly.
Arias was unstoppable, weaving through players, creating chances out of thin air, it seemed. And then those two goals, both stemming from attacks down that left side, exposing Lucas again and again. And can we talk about Ganso's assist on that first goal? What a redemption arc.
Pure class, the kind of playmaking that reminds you why Ganso is such a legend in this sport. But on the flip side, you could practically see Flamengo unraveling right before your eyes. Gabriel losing possession before that second goal, his frustration with Arias, it all just snowballed from there.
It was like Fluminense saw an opening and just went for it, turning the tables completely.
Precisely. And that's the beauty of this rivalry. You see, it's not just about tactics and formations. It's psychological warfare, the weight of history, the pressure of the moment. It all just feeds into this incredible drama on the pitch.
Speaking of pressure, this win was huge for Fluminense in their fight against relegation. What does this result do for their chances going forward?
It's a lifeline, for sure. No doubt about it. This win bumps them up to 15th place, which, gives them a little bit of breathing room. But let's be clear, this fight is far from over. They got a crucial match against Vitória coming up, another team that's desperate to avoid relegation. It's going to be a nail-biter for sure.
So the stakes are still incredibly high for Fluminense, but what about the other side of this, Uri? Flamengo's in a tight title race. How do you think this loss impacts them?
This isn't just a loss for Flamengo. This is a blow at a critical point in the season. Remember, they are chasing the title. They've got the Copa do Brazil semifinal coming up. And for anyone who needs a refresher, that's a knockout tournament where the winner earns a spot in the Copa Libertadores, South America's most prestigious club competition. To put it simply, the pressure is on.
Wow, it's like this one game has huge ripple effects across the entire league. Now let's dive into those individual player ratings, because I noticed a few head scratchers. For example, Rossi had that incredible penalty save in the first half, but he ends up with an average overall rating. How does that work?
It's a great example of how one brilliant moment doesn't erase an entire game's performance, while that penalty save was absolutely crucial when you look at Rossi's positioning throughout the entire match. There were some weaknesses. He might have conceded some easy goals if Fluminense had capitalized on some of those opportunities. Remember, these ratings are about consistency and the bigger picture.
That makes sense. So it's not just about individual moments of brilliance. It's about how those moments fit into the overall performance.
Exactly. And another great example of this is Wesley. He had a really strong start, but seemed to fade in the second half. And his rating reflects that inconsistency. And then you've got Matheus Gonçalves, so much potential, but he kind of disappeared in the second half.
It reminds you that even with young players with so much talent, maintaining that level for a full 90 minutes is a real challenge. It's that consistency factor again.
Oh, absolutely. And speaking of challenges, let's talk about Bruno Henrique. Yeah, Bruno Henrique definitely had a rough game picking up that yellow card, and now he's out for their next match against Juventude because of accumulation. Not exactly ideal timing for Flamengo as they try to stay in this title race.
Not at all, especially with the Copa do Brazil semifinal coming up. You know, it's interesting when you think about it. You could take this one game, this one fla-flu clash, and you almost have a perfect microcosm of the entire season, don't you? The highs and the lows, the tension, it's all there. So as we look ahead, what's the biggest takeaway from this match for you? What's the one thing that will stick with you?
That's a good question. I think for me, it's the reminder that in football, just like in life, nothing is guaranteed. And the Fluminense went into this match as the clear underdogs, and they reminded us that even when you're facing what seem like insurmountable odds, all it takes is a little spark, a little change in momentum, and suddenly everything can shift. It's a real testament to their resilience, their refusal to give up.
So the million-dollar question is, can Fluminense ride this wave of momentum and actually escape relegation? Or was this a fleeting victory?
That's the question, isn't it? They've shown incredible heart, but these next few matches are absolutely critical. We'll have to wait and see if they can maintain this level of intensity and determination.
Well, one thing's for sure, this Fla-Flu match was a roller coaster from start to finish. I don't think anyone will be forgetting it anytime soon.
No, absolutely not. I don't think I've ever seen so many twists and turns in a single match.
And that's the beauty of the Fla-Flu, isn't it? No matter what the standings look like, no matter who's favored on paper, you always know you're in for a wild ride.
Absolutely. It's that passion, that history that just makes this rivalry so special.
It really does. And for fans of good football in general, this match had it all. Moments of individual brilliance, tactical masterclasses, nail-biting tension. It was a perfect storm.
It really was a reminder of why we love this sport.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with me. It's been a pleasure breaking down this incredible match with you.
The pleasure was all mine, as always. Until next time.
That's it for this deep dive, folks. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next episode, where we'll be dissecting another fascinating match from the world of football.